Hi everybody. Well, today what I want to do is have a little look at the current Manchester United squad and see who should Man United keep, who should they let go, who's been performing, who's been doing absolutely nothing. I mean, well, to be honest with you, when you look through the whole squad, Man United fans, if you can name one player who's playing up to his full potential at the moment, please let me know, because I can't actually see one, and most of them are falling well short. So let's start off with a little look through the squad and who I think should stay, who I think should go. The goalie, De Gea. Well, for me, he's an improver. He's come on leaps and bounds. I think he's a good quality keeper. 100% keep him. I think in the next year or two he's going to be one of the best in the Premier League. EVRA. Well, EVRA's 32. He's 33 years old of age in May. He's getting on a bit. I think he's probably got one more year. And I'd keep him for that next year. He's quite a fit lad, he's a good athlete, he gets up and down still. But a year, and I think that's about it for EVRA. Raphael, I'd get rid of him as quick as possible. One of the worst Brazilian footballers I've ever seen. You don't see many Brazilians at this level panic on the ball. He panics on the ball, he's erratic, his passing's not very good. For me, I'd get rid of him as soon as possible. If you want to keep him, then you're probably going to always finish 7th or 8th in the league with a player like Raphael in your team. Phil Jones, honest lad. I think he's just, had his problems because Man United have had problems. I think the lad is basically a good player. But with all the nervousness around Man U at the moment, it's affected Phil Jones. But I think with the right manager, with the right people around him, player-wise, I think Phil Jones is a good player, and I'd definitely keep Phil Jones. Rio Ferdinand, well, Rio's finished. I mean, he's 35, 36 in November, just after the start of the next season. For me, okay, he could be a squad player where he plays the odd game, but I think, he's lost too much for me, fitness-wise, sharpness-wise, and it's just not happening for Rio, but he's been a fantastic player. I'm not going to knock Rio Ferdinand. Great international footballer, great club player, but it's, the time's come to finish, I would have thought, very soon. Jonny Evans. Jonny Evans is an interesting one. As a pure footballer, he's got a nice touch, he's calm on the ball, he's relaxed, his passing's decent, he's got decent vision, he's a good header of the ball. Just something about Jonny Evans, there's no sort of threat there with him. When I say that, let's say a centre forward, I used to play centre forward sometimes, and if I was up against Jonny Evans, it wouldn't really worry me too much. If I was up against VIDIC when he was at his best, or if I was up against Agger and Skirtling on present day form, I'd have a little bit of fear in my heart, thinking these guys are come lunging up and they're going to come at me, winning headers in the air, showing a bit of physicality, and they're also good on the deck. But with Jonny Evans, I know he's good on the deck, but I think he just lacks that little bit of presence that I want from a really good, strong centre-half. And that's why he's never quite cemented that position for me. But I think you have to keep him, and I think a good, strong guy next to him, I think will bring out the best in him. Anderson. Well, Anderson's gone on loan to Fiorentina. I think it's about right. I think he's had his best days at Man U. He's only young, he's only 26, but I don't think he's getting any better. I can't see it myself with Anderson. Mata. Now, Mata, for me, is one of the most interesting ones of all. At first, when Mourinho was getting rid of him, and Man United signed him, I thought, great signing for Man U. Mourinho's made a mistake. I don't particularly like Mourinho. In fact, I can't stand the bloke. But on this one, it's looking like Mourinho was spot on. Not Mata as a footballer, but I think something else was going on upstairs. I don't know if Mata's lost a bit of his appetite for the game, but it's interesting how it wasn't happening at Chelsea, and Mourinho didn't want him, and now it's not happening at Man U. I just watch his body language, and it looks like he's lost a little bit of appetite. Now, Man U fans, I've heard a few on different social media say, no, Mata's doing all right for us, he's played well. Really? 2 or 3 okay games, the rest of the stuff for me hasn't been good enough. Juan Mata was virtually Chelsea's best player, a year and a half ago, and now he wanders around the field aimlessly. Something's going on there, I'm not quite sure. But I suppose you've got to keep him. You spent all that money, you've got to give him another 6 months to a year to see if there is anything wrong up here, and if there is, get it right so he can improve down there. So you've got to keep him. Rooney, well, Rooney peaked 3 or 4 years ago. Nobody can argue with that. He ain't getting any better, but he's Man United's best player. You've got to keep him. Giggs, New temporary manager. Wish him the best. Smalling. Smalling for me I'd keep. I don't think he's the best fullback in the world. He's not one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League at the moment, but I think it just needs somebody to work with Smalling. Just look at John Flanagan at Liverpool. He's obviously been watching and people have watched him and they've improved him. I think that's what Smalling needs. He needs somebody to guide him, to show him when to play the right pass, when to take time, when to bomb forward. He just sometimes makes the wrong decisions and he needs to improve his sort of short and medium range passing game. Hernandez. Hernandez for me is a funny one. I think Hernandez is a good squad player and on his day he can score goals and he has in the past scored plenty. But he doesn't look like he's getting any better again. He's only young again, he's only 25, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. But I always think he's going to be not the main striker. He always needs somebody a bit stronger with him, a bit better footballer with him. But he'll always get goals, but he's not the main man. But I keep him. VIDIC, well Vidic for me, for the last 7-8 years has been probably in the top 3 centre-halves in the world. If you were picking a world 11, I'll tell you what, in the last 7 or 8 years, you wouldn't leave Vidic out. Up until he got his serious injury. So up until I think he was about, what is Vidic now? He's about 32. So when he was about 30, he to me was as good as anyone in the world. But since that injury, he's lost half a yard of pace. And because of that losing half a yard of pace, he's lost a bit of balance, he's lost a bit of power. And that balance and power was what Vidic was about. He's still a decent footballer on the deck and I like him a lot. But unfortunately, I think he's gone. And we know he's going at the end of the season to Italy. But what a fantastic player. Just sad that injury happened because I think he would have had probably another 3 or 4 really good years because he's a good athlete as well. Carrick, 33 next birthday. I think there's another year and a half left. Again, he ain't getting any better. He's a very good footballer, very tidy, very neat, great vision. You know, he's England international. We know he's a good player. But, you know, you can't base the next 5 years on Michael Carrick because he's going to be finished soon. But I keep him. Ashley Young, I think he's had his best days there. I think he'd be best out of the way. I'd get rid of Ashley Young. Van Persie, again, 31 in August by the start of next season. I think his best days were at Arsenal. He's peaked 2-3 years ago. I don't like the fit of Van Persie at Man U. It doesn't look right. I don't think his heart's at Man United. I'd get Van Persie out of there. Cleverly he gets knocked a lot. He's one of those players, whenever Man United lose or there's a bad performance, he tends to be the scapegoat. I know he isn't a great player. Man United fans know he isn't a great player. In his heart, he probably knows he's the most talented player in the world. But he works hard, he's reasonably neat and tidy, fit as a fiddle, gets about the field. I think you have to keep him, and he's got to be a squad player. And he'll always do a job for you. He'll never create loads of chances. He'll never go past loads of players on amazing runs. But he's not a bad lad. Fletcher, such a pity Fletcher got that illness, because Fletcher's a sort of player that could have really got Man United going this year. I think he's got that kind of that passion in his heart, Fletcher, that could have really kicked some of these guys up the arse and got them going this year. I like him. But again, you know, he's the wrong side for a footballer now, age-wise. You know, he ain't really going to get any better, but I do like the lad. I'd definitely keep him. I think he's got another 2 or 3 years if he can just stay well. Valencia, I like Valencia. Valencia in a good team for me is a good player. He'll produce. Honest lad, quick, skillful, gets crosses in the box. No problem. I keep Valencia. Kagawa, people keep telling me Kagawa's a great player, world-class player. And I'm sure he is. But somewhere along the way, Kagawa has to take more responsibility. If he is such a good world-class player, then world-class players, a moment in their career, they decide, I'm going to show the world I'm a world-class player. He hasn't shown me that he's a world-class player. All I hear, people telling me that. And people can't take responsibility for him. He's got to take that responsibility on the field. He's got to get it by the scruff of the neck and do special things on a football field for Man United that make him a world-class player. Yeah, I'd keep him, but he's got to show a little bit more for me. Buttner. A lot of people knock Buttner at Man United. I like him. Hard as nails. Proper full-back. I really like Buttner. I think if Buttner got the right manager in the right team, you'd see a hell of a player there. Give him a chance, I'd keep him. FELLAINI. I just think Fellaini's been the wrong fit. I think Fellaini's a good player. At Everton, he was a game changer. He's unique. He doesn't do things other players do. But whatever's happened at Man United, I don't know. I don't even recognise him. And if it is that serious and he just doesn't fit Man United, get him out of there, because it ain't working. There's no point lingering. Okay, that's the players I've gone through, so if you agree, disagree, let me know, leave a comment. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I know people won't agree with this, some will, some won't, but that's what it's all about. This is just my view, okay? All the best, folks, and I'll speak to you soon.